YouTube battle community, Beach Boys fans, random people on the internet. Hey, my name's Giggens, and we're going to talk about another Beach Boys set today. This is the Beach Boys Summer Love Songs, which came out in 2009, May 19th, 2009. I vividly remember buying this the day it came out. I think I went to Walmart to buy it, actually. It's a solid collection of, you guessed it, love songs. But there are some tracks on here that are definitely a little bit questionable, and some songs that should have been on here that I'm surprised that they weren't even considered for inclusion. So for instance, you've got Help Me Rhonda on here, which is kind of a love song, but there's no Forever, which is one of the best love songs ever written. And then you get Girls on the Beach, which is kind of a love song, but no, Only With You off of Holland. Only With You is a fantastic love song. So it's one of those things where it's like, the department heads probably realized, we need some more hits people know on this thing. We can't just load this thing up with tracks people don't know. There's enough on here already that we're questioning this thing. Because you do get a couple of tracks on here that are kind of different that you would never expect to see on here, like Our Sweet Love from the Sunflower album. Holy crap, that's a deep cut. Keep an Eye on Summer. I guess that's kind of a love song, maybe. And then you get some great stuff like Please Let Me Wonder, California Girls, which I guess is like a love letter to the girls of California. Surfer Girl, fantastic. Wouldn't it be nice? Some fantastic tracks on here. One of the more fascinating things about this are the new stereo mixes and a couple of discoveries that were done found previously to this album coming out. Maybe the reason why it was put out in the first place. So one of the things I want to talk about with this set in particular is the track on here called Fallen in Love, which was originally called Lady, and it was a Dennis Wilson solo track. This version in particular, Fallen in Love, is different than the version of Lady that was released in 1970. It was credited to Dennis Wilson and Rumbo, which was a one-off single kind of group thing. So this version has like instrumentation and different vocals. I think Carl actually sings on it, whereas on the original one, I don't think he was on that. The originally released version, anyway. It's one of those classic Beach Boys things where there's like alternate versions of it, and you're trying to keep track of what's what. But interesting track nonetheless. Kind of a nice addition to have on here, and definitely worth buying just for that. I mean, it's kind of a rare song to find, so it's nice to have it here. American Spring did a version of Fallen in Love in 1973, which is pretty cool. But the new versions on here of Don't Worry Baby and Why Do Fools Fall in Love, and I say new versions because they were like recently discovered at that time, tapes that weren't like available anywhere else. So this version of Don't Worry Baby sounds absolutely stellar. It's insanely clean. It just sounds like the master tapes had never been touched since day one, and they were put brand new on this thing for the first time. They sound absolutely incredible. Apparently John Stebbin, who was a Beach Boys author, discovered them. He discovered that and Why Do Fools Fall in Love, which has the original intro, which was never heard until this CD came out, and then it was on the Made in California box set. But the other stereo tracks on here that are redone new mixes are Hushabye, I'm So Young, Good to My Baby, and Time to Get Alone. And these tracks in particular do have a whole new life to them. They're very clean, excellent dynamics, they're punchier, the vocals just shine. The vocals on Hushabye in particular are mind-blowing. I mean, they've always been, but hearing them so clean and presented so well and maybe a little bit more centered in the mix, fascinating. It takes the song to a whole different level. It's like hearing it for the first time all over again. It's really, really cool. So like I said, Don't Worry Baby, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, and these new tracks are easily worth buying this thing alone just for the sound. If you're kind of into if you're a sound person where you like hearing different mixes and the best version of a song that could possibly exist, this is really high up there for a really clean sounding CD. It's a fun listen regardless. I mean, the tracks on here are just cool. But it's one of those things where I'm wondering if this album was put together solely because these two tracks have been discovered, and maybe they had recently redone these other tracks for some reason, but they didn't have other reason to put them out. There was no idea for a box set. There was no idea for reissuing the albums, but they were like, we should release these somehow. And this was before Spotify, before YouTube really took off. YouTube was around, but it wasn't the mass music thing that it is today. So it could have been one of those things where they were like, we should just put out a CD and like come up with a theme and put something together with some unreleased stuff and some hits and some deeper cuts to make an album out of it and see how it goes. So I do like the cover. I think the cover is pretty nice. Nice sunset with the girls there on the beach and their surfboards and the classic Beach Boys logo. Really airbrushed picture of the guys on the back with some different colorings there. So they got like these pink shirts on, and they look a little cartoony. But here's the inside with the CD, which kind of matches the front cover, and a great picture of the guys from 1967 on the beach. The inside here, let me bring this out for you too. The booklet here doesn't have a whole lot in the way of information as to like how the songs had been discovered or anything like that, but it does mention saying, you know, "Don't Worry Baby, this version previously unreleased 2009, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, previously unreleased 2009, that kind of stuff." So it's got some great shots of them during the All Summer Long era on the inside of the booklet. So nothing too crazy in that front, but get this back in here. Overall, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say about this. This is going to be a super short video because there really isn't too much to say. But in my quest to cover literally everything the Beach Boys have ever put out, this is on that list. So we're going to do it. This is also an HD CD, which was a technology that didn't last too long. I'm not sure if they even still make HD CDs, but it's supposed to be this, you know, you would think it stands for like high definition CD, but it stands for something else. I can't remember what it was. But it does sound really, really clean, and I play it on my stereo, and it sounds fantastic. So, song choices, there's some great stuff on here. It's nice to have some weirder stuff, and I say weirder because you don't see these things on albums all the time, but like In the Parking Lot, Your Summer Dream, Time to Get Alone, Our Sweet Love, Keep an Eye on Summer. There's some great songs that are totally classic Beach Boys that don't show up on greatest hits albums ever. You know, I think this thing's been out of print for years, basically since it came out probably. But there's a couple of weird tracks on here, like Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder, which is a fantastic song, but definitely kind of kills the mood. Like, you know, if you listen to the Pet Sounds, it's perfect. If you listen to this thing, and you have Keep an Eye on Summer, and then Don't Talk, and then Girls on the Beach, it's a really bizarre transition there. So again, it's one of those things where song choices, they could have put some different stuff on here, but that's like the classic thing to say about every single Beach Boys greatest hits album ever made, is that like the song choices are always going to be like, this is perfect, or this is terrible, or this, why would they do that, why would they leave this off? Classic Beach Boys story with this stuff. But if you've never heard this CD before, I highly recommend picking it up purely for the sound alone. It's crystal clear, it's super clean, the dynamics are really, really full of life, it's punchy. It really gets you excited about listening to these songs again and breathes a whole new life into them. So, my favorite tracks, sound-wise, on here are Hushabye, Don't Worry Baby, California Girls, and I'm also going to throw on Our Sweet Love. I think that sounds fantastic on this thing. But that's kind of it. So, the Beach Boys, Summer Love Songs. I'm going to give this thing a 9 out of 10, purely because I think they could have done some more actual love songs and not just have songs on here to sell a CD because, oh, I see California Girls, oh, I see Help Me Rhonda, oh, I see, you know, freaking whatever. But, you know, I think if you had Only With You and Forever on here, a couple more Dennis tracks, a couple more of these deeper actual love songs, I think they would have made for a perfect listen at that point. And regardless, the songs are all good anyway. I'm not saying there's anything bad on here. I just think they could have done a couple more steps of homework to think, well, maybe Help Me Rhonda, we've heard enough of that. Let's put Forever on there, and, you know, something like that. So that's it. My name is Giggens. This has been a super quick review for this thing. The Beach Boys Summer Love Songs, 9? Did I say 8? Let's 8 or 9 out of 10. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.